He says stuff that's controversial. He drops like the N word and it doesn't affect his audience.
Yeah.
He's kind of similar to Nick Fuentes. He's kind of like this same, like because he's edgy, even though he's more accepted in the mainstream media than Nick. But like where they have this kind of, and I think even Nick is more likable than Destiny.
He
But
is.
but people obviously. But I'm saying they have that gift of gab
Yeah.
that it is. Destiny has something you kind of want to listen to him. He's like,
There are moments.
he is good at talking. Sometimes I'm listening to him like, oh shit, Destiny. And sometimes in debates he does well.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's like bisexual and all that, and he's wife swapping, I don't even really, I tease him about that. I don't. That's his business. If he's a sexual perv, that's what he is. But Destiny's just he's such an ego. I think that's his problem. He's just so unhumble. Like he's famous on the internet. That's his one, I think, his Achilles heel. I'm really not even trying to make fun of him because, like I said, I was just putting him over. But dude, he has this ego because he's famous on the internet.
Yeah,
And I'm sure I have a little bit of an ego. Everybody, like
all
Michael
do.
Jackson
Everybody
was
does,
humble.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're on there, but I'm just saying his ego's huge. Like he's not that serious, and yeah, he really thinks that he's like the biggest deal in the world.
I'll be
And
clear.
and some of those takes that he has are just they're Nick, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're terrible takes.
It's certainly true. And look, I don't wish him any ill.
Yeah.
I've never made a comment
I
to
don't
him about
either.
his personal relationship stuff. That's on him. Now, what happens is sometimes when you fight fire with fire. So if he's going to make fun of someone's relationship, they're going to come back at him with that. I get that. I've tried to stay out of that foray, but I don't give a shit. I'm not judging people that do that. Whatever. Cool in the gang with me. Do what
Well,
you do.
speaking of this, sorry not to cut you off, but I do think Andrew Wilson, because Rob, you're a great debater. I'm not just saying that. You're a better debater than me. But dude, Andrew Wilson is on fire, and I don't know if it's just because of the whatever podcast. Like he's obviously was good before that. I don't even really watch that show that much. I do watch the clips, on Instagram and stuff, but I don't watch like the 6-hour streams.
Sure.
But he's dominating. I really like Andrew Wilson's debate skills. What do you think about him? I mean,
He's
I think
great.
I think he's a much better debater than Destiny.
I agree. He's coming on after you. He'll be the guest.
Oh, he
immediately
is.
following.
Is he? Yeah. I need
He's-
to debate Andrew. No, he's really good.
Well, here's the thing. This is the highest compliment I can give. So many people on this space, they portray this character in front of the camera like they're this super likable, accessible person, and then so many times they can't wait to stab you in the back for one subscriber. Like it's the shittiest thing. Andrew's got the opposite issue. It's surface level. You'd be like, wow, this guy's this huge prick, but he's actually like the nicest guy you ever
Yeah,
meet.
Andrew's really nice.
And
guy,
if you
yeah.
if you actually listen to him and you get through the message of what he's saying, and maybe he speaks with some coarse language, he's actually a very likable guy, even how he portrays himself. Even when he's sitting there yelling at OnlyFans girl, he's doing so in a way that's actually quite charming and likable.
I'm not good at impressions, but the way he does it is just smooth. I wish I was better at impressions, but he's smooth. The way he
He's
delivers
very
it.
good, and we debate in different styles. I'm debating in what I would call more of a normative style, where I'm like, well, look at this policy, look at this record, look at this thing that I think's an issue of corruption. Andrew's debating in sort of like, define your terms. Where do you get your philosophical underpinnings for your morality? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a simple man. I'm like some redneck. That's
Yeah, you know
oftentimes
all the
beyond my
policy. You know all the bullshit, dude. I don't know how you know all that. I mean, you can remember it all.
I just
Well, he's blowing up because exactly what you just said. He's teaching young men how to think and how to be a man. And that's extremely attractive in a culture where men don't have a lot of mentors and men don't have a lot of examples of how to be a man. That's why he's blowing up.
yeah, I agree.
Well, and I went on Jubilee, and I don't think I'm going to get invited back because I was at I was like on a 4-versus-4 debate, and that by the end of it, the people on the left, they're like, I can't deal with him. They cut a lot out too. I was just trolling them and getting in their faces. I should have been a little better. I didn't even realize how big of a deal the Jubilee was, and I like those Charlie Kirk. That's a really good idea though. But Rob, you could almost set up your 1 versus 24. John Doyle just did it. It's really not that hard, but it will cost you about $2,000 or $3,000 to do it right. But it probably will get millions of hits if you do it right.
I might look into doing something.
You wouldn't
I
even
think-
have to do 24 people. You could do like 10 people, so give them $100 each. But you might want to vet them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I will say I was inspired by you at one point. So a couple years ago, Dylan Burns used to do this hippy dippy.
Of course, hippy dippy. Yeah.
So like he invites me on for this panel. That particular month, I lost my Discord channel. The reason was I got some
Oh,
mess.
the trans stuff,
Right.
right? Oh, yes.
So
yes,
you
yes.
were on that panel.
I
with
was
me.
on
You
that
remember?
panel.
I got
Dude,
kicked.
you were crazy on that
That
panel.
was my Alex
good.
Stein impression, where I was just praising at the feet of the altar of the mighty trans people.
And what was it that you lost your Discord? But I forget Well, who were you getting mad at? Who was it? Dylan you were mad at? I mean, I know you were just mad at the Discord thing, but I forget who was it that you were going after?
Well,
Or were you not even...
I was sort of going after Dylan and them.
Yeah.
So facto, but the reason I lost the Discord, it was totally insane. And I didn't even give a shit about losing the Discord. What upset me was they threatened to ban everyone who was sort of a mod on my Discord. And because I set my Discord up being a novice, where I gave like mod permissions to a bunch of lefties that were just debating me on there, all of a sudden people like Stardust are getting messages like, we're going to end your Discord channel because you're a member of a hate community. And when I looked at it, I was like, what the fuck's on here that's getting me banned? I'm assuming that someone misgendered someone in hundreds upon hundreds of messages, so I had no choice but to shut the Discord down because I didn't want a bunch of people that weren't connected to me to lose their channels. So, but man, it's so nice to just like it's got to be cathartic to do what you do so often because there's nothing better than just poking fun at the very shit that they have to pretend to take serious over and over to the point where they're disgusted with the fact that they know you have a point, but there's nothing they can do except sit there and eat it that you're rubbing it in their face.
Well, yeah, and we'll see. I just did one, and because they called me so early, I left the baby oil in my car. I was so mad, but I went up there, and I need to do it kind of again where I was pro P. Diddy, and all of these, like, black Instagram accounts shared it because people thought it was real. They're like, man, this guy deserves to go to jail. Lock him up with Diddy. Because that's the best humor that makes people really laugh is if people think it's real.
Yep.
Like, if people don't think it's real, if they automatically know it's a bit, and that happens a lot because, like, I'm going on Howard University to the thing. How should I disguise myself? Like, I have a Camela hoodie because now I go to these meetings, everybody knows it's a gimmick. So, like, I have to go there. I have to blend in. I have to not act crazy.
You need a scarf. You need a man bun.
You think? Like, I mean, I don't have enough hair for a man bun. I was thinking about almost like dyeing my hair or something. I don't know.
Yeah, blue or purple is preferred.
Thick glasses. Yeah, dye your hair blue or something.
I gotta wear glasses. I need to wear glasses. 100%.
It's you don't have good posture. Always be leaning.
I need to order some. I need to order some like non. I need to order some on Amazon right now.
So let me ask you this: how's things working? You still working with the Blaze? How's things
still working at the
Glenn?
Blaze? They renewed me for another year. Thank the Lord, and I love the Blaze. We got a big election night special coming up, and I got it. That's why they're sending me to DC. And that's why I'm going to that rally. So I'm going to be there all. I fly Monday night. So no, I love the Blaze.
Have you had an occasion to meet Carrie Solomon and Chuck Konzelman, the guys that did Nefarious?
Oh yeah, at the party for it, I think I met both of them. Yeah, those guys are great. Are you a Steve fan? Are you a fan of Steve?
Well, I grew up with those guys.
No, are you in California? Where are you?
I was one of the guys that went out with them initially in 1990.
Oh, wow.
So I've known them for 55 years, and I'm hoping to get them on tonight. And they live in Dallas. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't. I did not know that.
Yeah.
No, I think I did meet them at that rap party. I see Steve. I believe he's coming in town for it, but I'll be out of town. Steve's been catching a lot of heat though, like for the DeSantis.
The DeSantis bros. Yeah.
I know, and I just don't. And I love Steve, but what do you think about that? How much is that affecting this election? All the DeSantis defectors. Has that left?
I think it'll have an effect, particularly if it's close, and it's a shame. Look, I understand.
And RFK's stealing some votes too. They said he's got 3% in some states.
Yeah, that polling's horseshit. I think in a lot of that, like. Even one of the big polls that just came out that said, where was it, Virginia we were looking at, said it was 45-45 in a head-to-head race. Really? You're telling me there's 10% in Virginia of undecided voters 3 days before the election? Sounds fishy. So I don't know, these polls, like, I just don't know what to think. But yeah, I mean, in a close election, there's certainly going to be the DeSantis people. It's a shame, too, because I think Steve's a really authentic guy. Look, I'll be straight up. I preferred Vivek. He was my candidate of choice, and my second choice was DeSantis. Trump was my third choice, so I get the feeling.
Oh, really? So you're not a Trump? So you didn't? So you're a DeSantis, or you were a DeSantis pimp, bro? Did you lose a lot of viewership because of that?
No, I think my audience appreciated the fact that I said I was willing to take any of the three, and I left it up.
Why
to
don't you
own.
like Trump just because he's toxic? Or
no,
something?
I absolutely like Trump. For me, the big issue is rooting out corruption, and I thought the single most important statements that they made. Trump said first, DeSantis said that we needed to move the FBI building out of DC, which is okay. Trump's like, no, we need to build them a big, beautiful building.
I know. See, I don't like that. And Trump with the vax and all. There's a lot of stuff I don't like about Trump, but I want him in office because I have a personal friend that's still in limbo about January 6th, a guy that never had a prior arrest, Luke Coffey.
Yep.
I know it. So he needs to get in to help those guys.
Did you see they screwed over the guy from Mr. Show from Bob's Burgers?
Or whatever. And gave him a year, and he's already blackballed from Hollywood. and then they give him a year for going. I mean, give him a month or something. Like that's the problem too. Is I don't even think America would have cared. It could have been just water under the bridge, but they don't want it to be like that. If they just would have given all the January 6ers just normal trespassing, a month, a couple months, it wouldn't have been as bad. But they're giving adults life sentences, 7 years, 15 years. Like it's just so ridiculous the way
Well,
January.
permit me to say something, Alex.
Of
This
course.
is why it's so important that you continue to put your boot on their necks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm always going to speak out about because my buddy Luke had never had a prior arrest. I think when he was under 21, he got a public, not a public intoxication, but like minor possession. That was the only other thing on his record. And he's looking at serious jail time. And he didn't even go inside, but they're saying he assaulted a cop because he's holding a crutch and he's like holding it against their police shields. But it's like, come on, it's just so ridiculous that they're ruining so many people's lives and
They
giving
just don't give
grandmothers.
it.
Yeah, they
They're
don't give a
making example.
damn. Yeah, but there's all kinds of uh, no bond release in all of these liberal places. They don't care that you can have a felony arrest, but they'll let you go out on bond. Like it's sad. You almost have to be like a career criminal because it doesn't affect you in that sense. You can get arrested all your life, but if you actually have something to lose, like everybody basically on January 6th, let's be real, everybody there is probably like had something going on, had a trade job, a good job. That guy's a big time actor, and it's all their lives are ruined because they went there because they didn't believe the results of the election.
Let me drop some truth for my friend, the host of Conspiracy Castle. Give you a little conspiracy here. How you gonna feel when we find out 6 months or so after this election that guess what? There were a lot of federal agents in that crowd, and whoopsie daisy, many of them motivated people to go ahead. Here's the truth about crowds: like it only takes a handful of bad actors that you could spur a passionate crowd. I don't give a shit if it's people celebrating an NFL championship. Like it only takes a few
After the Dodgers game, yeah, they all go riot. That's and they're celebrating the happiest they could be, and they riot. So it's like it's so easy to do that. You're
That's
right,
what
to
they
just-
wanted. They set it up. That's why, you hear Capitol Chief Sund, who was in charge of defense that day, saying, no one shared with me intelligence. The FBI is claiming they knew there was about to be an insurrection. No one did shit. They wouldn't allow me to have adequate protection. They didn't allow me to request the National Guard. That's what happened. The Democrats wanted this moment where they could say, look, these evil freaking Nazis, they're a threat to democracy. See, they're what we always told you they were. To cover up from the fact that they just co-signed off of violence from Democrats for the 4 months before that. That's all it was. And that means that actual great people like your friend that don't have any sort of record get caught up in that wave, and now their lives ruined. And people, like, there's some people that have killed themselves, that literally
that
have
one dude,
died.
Yep.
I mean, so it's a goddamn shame. And hopefully, we could get some justice for those people if we get sort of a Trump presidency. I hope that's, he said he's going to look, there's certainly people that engaged in acts of violence, and I'm not excusing that. I think they should be treated similarly to other political riots that we've seen. How many people were arrested that attacked the White House May 30th, 2020, when the national media made fun of Trump for having to be moved to a bunker? How many of them went to prison? How many of them went? None. So that's
Attack Paul, Senator Paul.
attack Rand
Yep.
Paul. Yeah. So that's
So
how
what do you think the over/under is on the number of FBI agents in the crowd?
Oh, it's
Now the
fine.
IG
They
report
knew.
won't come
Yeah, well,
out for a while yet. But
But
what do
even
you
if
think?
Trump gets in, guys, he's not going to release the JFK files. He's not going to release anything about 9/11. Like, and I love Trump,
won't.
but he's not.
I know.
No, because the CIA is going to sit him down and be like, "You can't do this, sir. I know you're the president, sir, and I know that you want to do this, but they're going to tell him this will, compromise our relationships with too many foreign countries, and it's not just an American matter; it's a world matter. Like they'll just tell him he can't do it. Like these
Well,
presidents. This is another thing, and I learned a lot from this guy Kyle Kemper, and he's like this wild spirit. He's Justin Trudeau's half brother, and he's conservative. Really, he's like libertarian, or he's like an RFK guy. But he wants Trump to win now that RFK and him are backing. But he's Justin Trudeau's half brother, so same mom, different dad. Justin Trudeau's wife divorced him, married some other rich guy, and so he's his younger half brother. And he grew up knowing Justin, knowing the Prime Minister, Trudeau, or whatever. And I was like, do you hate your brother? And he never talks bad about his brother, even though he doesn't agree with him politically.